Welcome everybody. This is one of my early AutoCAD 2019 presentations. I've been actually really like AutoCAD 2019. You're going to see why as I go through this presentation. And for those of you who have already downloaded AutoCAD 2019 and are using it, this will give you a chance to see the new features, and hopefully you'll try them when we're done with the presentation today, so you don't keep using AutoCAD the way you've been using it for years, right? Let's try some of the new features. That's always a good thing. And for those of you who have not made the move to the latest release of AutoCAD, and you'll soon see why it's called One AutoCAD, this will give you a chance to see what's in it, so you can make an educated decision as to whether or not you want to make that move. And hopefully, I really like it. I think you'll be convinced. And I'm a consultant now. I don't work for Autodesk anymore, Steve, so I don't have to say that. So I really like the release, though. So let's take a look. And moving along here. So I kind of split the features of AutoCAD 2019 into 3 different buckets. There's the latest enhancements that are built right into the product, and this is going to be for those of you who are in AutoCAD 2019, and those of you, almost all these features are also in LT. Even for those of you who are not subscribers, you will have access to these features. And we'll start off with those. And then there's the specialized tool sets. These are for those of you who are subscribers, and we'll talk about these. This is actually kind of where it gets its name, One AutoCAD. And then the AutoCAD Web and mobile apps. We'll talk about those as well, which, you know, Autodesk is moving forward, right? We want to be able to take AutoCAD anytime, anywhere, be able to access it, and we'll talk about that as well. So it's also available to those of you who are subscribers. All right, let's move on. I would like to talk about the new features, the latest enhancements in the product. Once again, this is available to all of you who make the move to AutoCAD 2019, even those of you who are on maintenance. And I'm going to start off with the one I think is the biggest crowd pleaser, at least it has been so far as I've been doing my live presentations, and that's the DWG Compare feature. And let me just say, they did a beautiful job on this feature. I love the way they did this. Now, in the past, if you wanted to compare 2 drawing files, you maybe use Design Review, maybe use one of the BIM 360 products. There's a variety of other products out there maybe you got your hands on, but there was no way to do it from inside of AutoCAD. And what I'm talking about here is, you know, we've all been in this situation. You have drawing A over here, drawing B over here. You had maybe 2 different people working on the same drawing, and it went badly. And now you have to figure out what the differences are between the 2 drawing files. Come on, I know you've been there. We've all been there. And now you just want to have a graphical look to see what the difference is so you can figure out what to do. Am I right? Okay. So let me show you how easy it is to do a drawing compare inside of AutoCAD 2019. Oh my gosh, they did such a great job. I was quite pleased. So let me close this up over here. There we go. All right, so we're inside of AutoCAD 2019. No big surprises, which is always a good thing. And if I do not have any drawings open inside of AutoCAD 2019, if I hit the great big huge A, the application menu in the upper left-hand corner, you will actually see that there's a big old option for drawing compare. Like the drawing compare, whoever was in charge of the PR for DWG Compare, man, they had a good agent, because there's a great big huge option available to you. I have a drawing open, so I can't show that to you. If you have a drawing open and you go into DWG Compare, it's going to assume that you want to compare the current drawing. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now, where is DWG Compare? It's on a new tab on the ribbon. I hope you guys are using the ribbon. The new Collaborate tab. It only has really 2 tools on the Collaborate tab. They're both basically new or updated features in AutoCAD 2019. And here is DWG Compare. It does kind of crack me up that DWG Compare is on the Collaborate tab on the ribbon, because you really only need to use DWG Compare when collaboration goes badly. So I do kind of find that amusing, my personal amusement. But here it is, DWG Compare. Now I'm going to go ahead and select this, and you will see that by default it used this drawing that I have current. If you don't like that, just click on the ellipses and you can switch to a different drawing file, no problem. And then you're going to go ahead and select the drawing that you want to compare it to. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pick the version 2 of this particular drawing file. Right now, you also have control over the color scheme. And for some reason, red is not showing up right. Even though this is red down here, for some reason my red's not working on my computer. It's not an AutoCAD issue, it's my issue. So I switched it to magenta, but you can pick any colors you want. You can whatever colors make you happy. Besides red always indicates bad anyway, so let's pick a nice pretty magenta color. And we don't really know which one, who was the offender in this compare mistake, right? So I'm going to say compare. And you will see, if you take a look at this, you will see that it definitely compared the two drawing files, and the differences in drawing 2 are magenta, the differences in drawing 1 are green, and everything that's the same is a gray color. You see in there, I'm going to zoom in a little bit and get a better look. Everything that is the same is gray. Now there's a lot of cool things that you can do here. Look at the tab, look up here. On the Collaborate tab, you can see that everything changed automatically for you to reference only those tools that you can use when you're doing a compare, which I love. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn off a couple things. I'm going to turn off the common to both, so now you can just see the differences between the two drawings. Or maybe I just want to see what the difference is with version 1. You can see now I'm just seeing the changes that have to do with the first drawing, or I can do it the other way around, like that as well. I'm going to turn them all back on for now. And then also you have complete control over the draw order. I can go ahead and I can click over here, and now you can see that drawing 2 is on top. If that makes a difference to you, it could make a difference to you. You can see, you get a slightly different view of what's going on. That was easy. You'll also see that there's an option for drawing information, where it will actually show you the two drawing files that are being analyzed here for this compare. Why would I want that? Well, I might want to insert a little table into my drawing file, which I'm going to do right here, and pick where you want that to go, whatever size you want it to be. I'll zoom up on it so you can see it. So you might want to print this file or save this file and send this out to somebody. The two people, the two offenders, probably tell them they better work this out and let you know which one is right, which is the right file, what needs to be done to correct this issue. And then I also want to point out, can you see that it's basically saving a new file with a different name? It's a new compare drawing file. If I do a save right now, it's going to save it under a different name, which is also pretty interesting, right? So a lot of tools there to help you move forward with this compare. What else have I got? You'll see that I have it set up so it compared text, but you can easily turn that off if you don't want it to compare text. Or I do not have a comparing hatch, but I can tell it to compare hatch. You can see I just turned that hatch on. If you don't like revision clouds, you can turn those off as well. I do think, even if you don't publish the drawing this way, I think the revision clouds come in handy for you to see the actual differences between the two drawing files. So I like to have the revision clouds on at least at first. By default, there is it defaults to rectangular. Now, this is like a huge, massive revision cloud. Might as well put a big revision cloud around the whole drawing, right? So it doesn't really show you too much. You can also, if you want to, you can change it to polygonal. And I want to point out that that word is polygonal, not polygonal, like it is in the Autodesk videos where they say polygonal. As a math major, I can tell you, it's polygonal. All right, now you can see that's different. This is a little more obvious. These are a little bit more obvious. You can see now where the revisions are. Like, I might have missed this guy over here, but now it's easier to see because it's actually wrapping the revision clouds around the individual differences. So that's up to you. A couple of other things you can do. You can change the margin. You can make the margin bigger if you decide that you do want to publish this, for example, with the revision clouds. You can control that. And I love this. Check this out. I can go from one to the next, to the next. Just by clicking on here, it will go through all of the various differences of the compare. I love that. How cool is that? And I'm telling you, it's it. That's it. It's so simple to use this DWG Compare. I just absolutely love the way they did it. Very straightforward, very, very simple. Anybody can do it. You can do it. You figure it out on your own. I love anything you can figure out on your own. I think that means they did a really nice job of sorting it out. So that is DWG Compare. Let's go back over to the PowerPoint. All right. There we go. Big crowd pleaser. And then you can go and talk to the two people who have the two different drawing files, and you can make sure that they sort it all out, right? And tell them not to do it again. Be organized. All right, so shared views. All right, so shared views have actually been in AutoCAD for a couple of releases. They are not new. They just have a name change. They used to be design views, and now they're called shared views. But I will tell you, they're definitely faster, and they have some updates given to them. So they've been improved on inside of AutoCAD 2019. They did not have the same good PR agent because most people don't even know about them. So I'm going to tell you all about them. So let me start by saying one of the biggest features inside of the last couple of releases of AutoCAD has been the ability to bring PDF files in as AutoCAD objects. Am I right? Big crowd pleaser. But what if you don't, there's pros and cons with that. Now, if you send a PDF file out from AutoCAD, you give it to somebody, they can technically take that PDF file and they can convert it to AutoCAD objects. So you may not want the people that you work with to have access to your DWG data. If you share with them these shared views, I was a little redundant, but if you use shared views, they do not have access to your DWG data. They can look at it. They can, turn layers on and off. They can check out the properties. They can do basic measurements. They can do comments, but they cannot physically edit the drawing file. They do not have access to the DWG data. They can't mess anything up, but it's a great way to share your designs. And it's also great if you're working with somebody who doesn't have AutoCAD, or if you're working with somebody who's technologically challenged, and you all know somebody like that. All they have to be able to do is click on a link. That's all they need to have to be able to do, and they will be able to look at your drawing files. But once again, just look and not touch, and that's a good thing. So this is another option for you. If you don't want to send PDF files around that they might potentially be able to convert into AutoCAD objects, I think you're going to like these shared views, and they're easy too, and I like easy. So let's go take a look. This is also, incidentally, on that Collaborate tab that I was just talking about, okay? There we go. So let's go over to this drawing file right here. I like this one. And you will see on the Collaborate tab is the shared views, all right? Once again, these are the two new features inside of AutoCAD 2019 that made it on the Collaborate tab. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on shared views. I want to share this file with somebody, this drawing file with somebody. And incidentally, I have to be logged on to my AutoCAD 360 account, incidentally. They don't have to have an AutoCAD account. It's very simple for them. You do, though. I'm going to go ahead, and you'll see actually on here, you'll actually see, I need to move this deal here. That's part of WebEx. Bear with me. You will see on here that I have done this presentation a lot of times. You'll see I've made a lot of shared views. And I want you to note that these shared views expire after 30 days. So if after 30 days, no problem, you decide you want to extend that, you can just click on the ellipses here, and you have the ability to extend that so you can give them access for a longer period of time. So that's up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say I want to create a new shared view. Put this guy back up here. And let's call this mount view. We'll do Imagine It. And some options on here. Do you want to just share the current view? So that would be just what you're looking at right now. In this case, it would just be this layout tab. Or do you want to share the entire drawing model space, all the layout tabs? And do you, maybe it's a 3D file. Do you want to just create 2D views, or do you want it to share the 3D views as well? And do you want it to share all the object properties so that they have access to the object information? Once again, they can't, really do much with it. They can just look at it. So there's no harm in that. Of course, the more things you select, the longer it will take to create this shared view. But it's so fast now, I don't think it's that big of a deal. And you can continue to use your computer. This is a cloud application, so it's going to do all that work behind the scenes. It's going to, do it all up in the cloud. So it's not going to slow you down. You just have to wait a little bit longer. I'm going to go ahead and click Share. It's going to give me a little warning that there's going to be background processing. No problem. I'm going to say Proceed. And then in the lower right-hand corner of my screen, let me just close this for now. You will see. Let's see if I can point. Hopefully you can see my arrow there. There is a cube with just a little circular motion going on. That indicates to you that it is publishing a shared view. So it's doing a little bit of work in the background there. So you can always look down there and see if that is still occurring. And I think this is where I need to be able to tell a joke or something like that. So yesterday this went much faster. I've actually find that the more people that are watching you do the presentation, the slower it goes. Come on. Okay, so two men walk into a bar. Oh, come on. All right, well, since I've done so many presentations, oh, that was good. I had one, like, you know, the cooking shows where they have the cake in the oven they can pull out. I had one ready to go, but I prefer to actually do it all live. So that was pretty good. I feel like it was slower today, a lot slower than it was yesterday. Once again, maybe it's because I got the whole WebEx thing going too, I don't know. But you can see I also have another one up here. In case it goes badly, there it goes. And it has some issues with one of the fonts in this particular drawing file. It loves to use Simplex, by the way. It doesn't like to use some of the SHX fonts that happen to be in this particular file. So it does call me names a little bit as I move around. It just started doing that. It didn't do that like 2 weeks ago. I'm not, you know, it's a cloud application, so it gets updated constantly behind the scenes. So there's pros and cons with that. But you can see on here, I can go to the different layouts. I can go to model space. I can go to a variety of views as well, you know, whatever works for you. And you can do, like I said, a variety of things. Like I could come in here and I can do a measurement. I can measure this closet. I go, oh my gosh, that's way too small, whatever the scenario is. You can, I would also like to point out the zoom by default inside of this is the opposite of what we're used to in AutoCAD. So you Inventor users will be right at home, but for us AutoCAD users, it feels very weird. So as I move my wheel forward, it actually zooms further away. So the first thing that I have to tell you guys to do is to go into settings and go to navigation and reverse the mouse zoom. I do not know why they set it up this way. It's counterintuitive to 90% of the people who will use this. But the first thing I did was come in here and change the zoom, or you will totally lose your mind. Pretty straightforward. And there's a variety of object properties you can look at. Layers, I can come in here and I can start to turn layers off, you know. Okay, that was like all the layers in that one. That was pretty violent. Let's turn some layers back on. There we go. There we go. Let's go take a look at this one. And I also would like to point out that you have the ability to screenshot will just basically allow you to print what you're currently looking at. Print is a standard printing procedure, so you could print more than one of these layouts. I can make comments, like I can certainly say that closet is too small. And it will post this. Now, this is not a document management program. I want to make sure we emphasize this. It's not going to start sending a bunch of emails to everybody back and forth. There is a resolve option here, but this is not a document management program. People need to know to go back in to check this. And you know, maybe you want to look into the BIM 360 product or something like that if you're interested in something that will actually keep track of comments and notes and things that need to be done. This is very, very basic, but it does allow you to do some basic comments, and the information will be stored. And I also want to point out the most important part of this, which is what you need to do to share it with anybody. If I click on share, you will get this fabulous link. All you have to do is copy that link, and you can drop it into an email. And as long as that person that you're working with can click on a link in an email, you are good to go. And they'll end up coming right here. They'll have the ability to look at this drawing file and do all the things that you just saw me do, and a lot more. I didn't show you everything that you can do. There's markups and a variety of different things in here that they can do. And this, once again, is a cloud app, so it's constantly being updated. So they'll be adding more features as time goes on. It has a lot more features than it did when it first came out. So that is, you got it? Those shared views. They do not have to have any type of an Autodesk account to come here and take a look at this. Now, if you update the join file, nobody will know. You have to republish it. Let's make sure that we all understand that, all right? It's stagnant. They'll only see whatever was in here the last time you published it. So let's make sure we're all on the same page there. So those are shared views, used to be design views, shared views, all right? Not technically new, but definitely better than they were in the previous releases. All right, the user interface. So for those of you who have 4K monitors, your experience with AutoCAD may not have been great. So it's going to be way better inside of AutoCAD 2019. They updated nearly all the dialog boxes, so you'll have a better experience. And they updated the icons, so you'll also have a better experience. But let me just tell you, I'm just going to say personally, 4K monitor or not, one of the best features inside of AutoCAD 2019 is the fact that the trim tool, the trim icon, has a pair of scissors on it now, because you guys know that the trim icon and the extend icon look almost exactly the same, and you can't tell me that you haven't picked the wrong one by accident. I was pretty excited about that. I'm pretty excited about that. Yay. I even know people who've gone in and physically modified them so they did not look so similar. So if you did, I apologize for that. But now that'll make our lives a little bit easier. I'm just saying. It's the little things that make me happy. All right. So unfortunately, the naming convention for the new features inside of AutoCAD 2019 gets a little bit confusing, because now I talked about shared views, and now we're going to talk about named views. So kind of similar naming convention. Named views have actually been in AutoCAD for a long time. Since the beginning of AutoCAD time, actually, they're pretty early on, there were named views, and I bet a bunch of you that are on this call right now, or webinar, use them. And if you don't know what a named view is, let me just explain it to you briefly. They're typically used in very large files, and I'm not talking about files from a file size. I'm talking about, you know, just graphically large files, so that when you spend a lot of zooming from point A to point B to point C to point D or whatever, you would save a named view so you could quickly go from one area of the drawing to another. They're often used in civil and mapping and things like that. Small drawing files, not so much. But I'll give you an example in a small drawing file just because it's easy to explain it that way. You might have a drawing of a house. You can make a named view called bedroom, and one called kitchen, and one called bathroom, one called living room. So I could go to the view command, and I could restore a view called bedroom and go straight to the bedroom. I could go straight to the bathroom. I could go straight to the kitchen very quickly and easily using named views. And one of the other nice things about named views is that you can save the layer settings. So you can say whether layers are on or off, which is also incredibly cool. So named views have a lot of pretty powerful hidden talents that go with them. And those AutoCAD gurus out there know the power of named views. See, and now you do. So let me show you the updates to named views inside of AutoCAD 2019. They've just made them so much easier to access them, to use them, and they've added a pretty powerful feature, if you ask me. If you ask me. Let's go over to this drawing file right here. I'm going to close the shared view. This is actually new, this palette, the shared view palette. We're going to close that up. And no surprise, I'm going to go to the view tab on the ribbon. That's where named views are, not shared views. Let's not mix it up. Named views. That makes sense. So here they are right here. Now, in the past, if I wanted to create a named view, I would go into View Manager. I would click on New, and then I would go ahead and answer all these questions. Okay, so nothing wrong with that. A lot of clicks. Now I don't have to do so many clicks. Now I can go straight to New View. All right, that makes me happy. That's good. That saves me some time. I'm going to make a new view, and I'm going to call it Spiral Staircase. If you're super organized, you can set up view categories. I don't have any categories set up. I suppose if I had a whole boatload of named views, I'd go to that trouble. I mean, I can barely organize my closet, so I'm probably not going to go to that trouble. I would have respect for somebody who did. And then there's also a variety of different view types, but you know, 95% of the time, you're just going to be creating still views unless for some reason you're into recorded walks and cinematics. I'm going to say 99% of the time, you're just going to be making a still view. And I'm going to define a window. I'm not going to use the current display, and I'm going to zoom up on here, and I just want to make a view of my spiral staircase. There we go, like so. If I like it, I hit an enter, and then another enter to get out, and there we have it. Now it doesn't even zoom in where I was, incidentally. Now, this is cool. If I drop down up here, you will see there's a great drop-down list of all my saved views. Let me go look at them. These were already set up in the drawing. I can look at the driveways. I can very quickly go to all of these saved views that I made, named views. Don't confuse them. Here's my spiral staircase. I can go to these very, very quickly. I love that. I'll tell you, I would have loved it even more if I could have put it on the quick access toolbar. Now, if you've ever seen any of my presentations, you know I'm really big into putting things on the quick access toolbar, like the layer drop down, whatever. I can do a right click on almost every single tool in the menu. I can add it to the quick access toolbar. But for some reason, they do not allow me to do this one, and I just kind of wanted to cry because I would have loved to have had it up here so I didn't have to go to the View tab to switch named views. That would have been such a beautiful, beautiful thing. Maybe the next release. Maybe somebody on the AutoCAD team is listening today. They'll do that. I'm going to drop them a note anyway because I was really sad they didn't do that. But nevertheless, this is good. I can still get to the named views very, very quickly, and that makes me happy. All right, what else is new? So I also love this pretty cool added addition. If I go to, here I am in paper space now, right? I'm on a layout tab, and I have a new option. They've added this into the layout tab right here, the ability to, first of all, they put my name views over here. They put them in a gallery format so they're very visual. I can see them. Check this out. I can go ahead and maybe I want to grab the driveway, drag and drop. Check this out. Drag it up and it goes ahead and makes a viewport for me, an M view. Yay, I love that. And what kind of scale factor? Use the annotation scale factor of where I brought it from, but if you don't like that, you can simply click on here and you can modify it and change it, make it bigger, make it smaller, whatever the deal is. That's way too big, but you get the idea. You have control over that. Let's do another one because it's fun. Why not? Let's go get my spiral staircase. Bring that over. Now, if it's too big, before you place it, right-click, no problem. You can change it before you even place it. Change the size of that. You'll also find it has kind of also a nice new feature. I don't even have a view that I want to drag and drop. I can click on New View. Okay, and this gets so confusing. It lets me create a random, unnamed view. That's crazy. And maybe I'll just, make a view of, what is that, shrubbery or tree, whatever that is, and allow me to drag and drop that guy. So as you can see, you have a lot of cool options with these named views. And let me remind you, once again, it always remembers the layer information, what was turned on, what was turned off. There's a lot of power here as well with these named views. Now, these are just viewports like any other viewport, all right? These are M views. It says a viewport. It's nothing fancy about it. You can modify it. You can change the corners just like any other viewport. It's just another way of creating a viewport. So I want to make sure you understand that. Nothing special about them. It's just another way to create them, and it's a pretty darn fun way to create them. Let me say that too. Go back over to our PowerPoint. Named views. We have named views. We have shared views, DWG Compare, and the all-important changing the trim icon to scissors. What more could you ask for? Add the release of AutoCAD. All right, so with AutoCAD 2018, oh my God, there were so many great features about XREF. I love sharing how they made XREF so much better inside of AutoCAD 2018. And with 2019, they did some work with XREF layer override. They did a lot of work with XREF layer override, I'll tell you. So just making sure we're on the same page if you don't know what I'm talking about. So you attach an XREF to your drawing file. You get all the layers that come with it, right? If you go into, for example, into the Layer Properties Manager and you change the color of any of those layers, so it no longer matches the original drawing, the host drawing, the original drawing, source drawing, you created an override. And in the past, it has been somewhat difficult to tell which layers have those overrides and which ones do not. It can get confusing. Well, it won't be confusing anymore because now there's three ways to tell if you have overrides. If you can't tell if there's an override anymore, boy, you need glasses. You need better glasses. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's go back over here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. And incidentally, inside of all of these viewports is an XREF, which will come into play later on. Let's go to Layer Manager. And you can see I have an XREF attached. These are all XREF layers. And if I come over here and I just randomly select, no, I want to pick many of you guys. Pick like those layers, and I do a right click. No, I want to do right click, sorry. And I decide to change the color to, we'll do cyan, a color which I jokingly say nobody would know cyan if it weren't for AutoCAD. If I move my cursor over, you will see that we have icons indicating there are overrides. Can you see these little icons right here on the left? That means there's an override to that layer. That's one way to tell that there's override. There's also an icon up here. I can click on that icon and it will also show me that there are overrides to those layers. That's two ways. But wait, there's more. There's also, look over here. There's a new XREF override section that just shows you the layers with overrides. If that's not enough, I don't know what else to help you with here, because that's a lot. That's 3 different ways to show you which layers have overrides. It should be very, very clear to you now. Gotcha? Make sense? All right, let me show you what else. I'm going to go into the layer settings dialog box. For those of you who are wondering where Viz Retain went, it used to be in options, right? Viz Retain? Well, I want you to know it now has moved to this dialog box. Here's Viz Retain. It's in the layer settings dialog box. And then a couple of releases ago, Autodesk added in this cool feature that came with a system variable called XREF override. And I think I'm going to have to explain this to you so we're all on the same page. Boy, there's a lot of talk about XREF override, so I'm going to start from the beginning. So I just want to read this to you. Treat XREF object properties as by layer. If you bring an XREF into AutoCAD, and all the layers come with it, and you change the color of all those layers to something, if the objects were not by layer, those objects won't change, right? If somebody was badly behaved, they didn't know what they were doing, and were not drawing by layer, it doesn't matter what you do to those layers, it won't change. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. So let me go, so take a look at what you have on the screen. I'm going to go into the layer dialog box. I'm going to just look at the XREF layers. I'm going to highlight all of these XREF layers. Let's get them all. And I'm going to change all of them to have the color green. With me? And I'm going to leave the dialog box. Now, if I take a look in these viewports, you'll see some of the layers change to green, but not everything. Oh my gosh, please don't do anything now. Big Windows update right in the middle of the presentation. So everything should have turned to green. Well, since everything did not turn to green, that means somebody was badly behaved and they did not draw by layer. Are you with me? I can't see your heads nodding. I hope your heads are nodding. I believe your heads are nodding. So a couple of releases ago, Autodesk added in this really cool XREF override. XREF override command/system variable, where if I set that to 1, now watch my screen, look at that, everything turned to green. It made everything by layer. Oh yeah, that's cool. If I was there right now, I know you would be high-fiving me, wouldn't you? I know you would be. That's cool. Now if I go back into the layer dialog box and I come over here to the settings tab, this is the same thing. Treat XREF object properties as by layer. Okay, you with me? It's so hard to explain that. I hope you followed me. We just know it's cool. And if you go back into XREF override and set it to 0, it goes back. See that? It goes back. So it's binary. You can put it back and forth. It doesn't affect the source drawing, right? Phew, that was exhausting. Okay, then there's always a couple of features that I want to mention that I don't have in a slide. Cropping window and fence selections are now supported when you're trimming or extending lines that are not on the current UCS plane. You got that? I'm just reading these. I don't have them anywhere. And these are just little things. Custom line type properties are now supported when checking standards with multiple custom line type definitions. Okay, you can't say I didn't tell you. Those are just random little things. And I already talked about this. All right. Specialized tool sets. What, Lynn, are these specialized tool sets? So this is, for those of you who are subscribers, this is unbelievably fantastic. So in the past, if you wanted AutoCAD Architecture, you know, you paid more for AutoCAD Architecture. And if you also wanted AutoCAD Mechanical, you also had to pay for AutoCAD Mechanical, or you also had to pay for AutoCAD Plant 3D. And if you wanted AutoCAD, generic AutoCAD, you also had to pay for that. So now, Autodesk has taken all of these, what we used to call them verticals, taken them all, AutoCAD Mechanical, AutoCAD Architecture, Electrical, all of these that you see in front of you, and they make them all available to you if you are an AutoCAD subscriber. You don't have to pay any extra. They're all available if you're an AutoCAD subscriber. That's why they're saying it's one AutoCAD. They're not all separate anymore. They all come together. They're all available to you if you are one subscriber. And that is absolutely amazing. Now, I want to point out that there's only one that's missing, and that is a Civil 3D. That's still separate, unfortunately. But still, this is pretty impressive. And I want you to also see at the very bottom of this stack is this raster design. Can you see that raster design? Oh my God, that is like this top secret awesome product. I'm going to talk about that with you. That's also available when you are an AutoCAD subscriber. And now, so these are all separate installs. I want to make sure you fully understand that. You would, for example, on my computer, I installed AutoCAD, generic vanilla AutoCAD, and I installed AutoCAD Architecture, and I installed AutoCAD Mechanical. And maybe I could also, if I wanted to, I could also install all these others. They're completely separate programs, full AutoCAD programs with added value based on the industry. All right, so let me just kind of, I really like this slide that they put together. So you have access to great libraries of symbols. You get a bunch of different parts and components based on which one of these specific tool sets you selected. And a lot of these have some pretty impressive automation in them, especially like AutoCAD Mechanical. There's some great automation built into that. If you learn to use the products correctly, you can't use them like you use just regular AutoCAD. There's some pretty cool automated tasks that will save you a lot of time that, you know, standard AutoCAD just doesn't have. And yet I'm still in the AutoCAD interface. I'm still super comfortable. I can use it just like I use my AutoCAD if I want to, and they have some really nice workflows. So technically, I absolutely believe if you get up to speed on these products, you can get your jobs done a lot faster, which I love. So I'm going to run through them really quickly. This is not the exciting, you know, part of the presentation because all of you only care about whatever discipline you're in. So I'm going to just kind of go through these very quickly. I'm not going to demo all these. Oh my God, I'll be here for hours. But AutoCAD Mechanical, I used to demo AutoCAD Mechanical, and I used to do a lot of work with Inventor and talk about how AutoCAD Mechanical does a great job of working with Inventor and Fusion 360, being able to take solid models and bring them in and work with them and detail them and do a lot of the work that you might want to do with AutoCAD. AutoCAD Mechanical is specifically focused on manufacturing of the mechanical industry. It comes with over 700,000 manufacturing parts, features, and symbols, intelligent ones. There's a lot of smart data that's saved with them. And there's a lot of automation. It does a great job at balloons and bill of materials. It just has better mechanical dimensioning tools. It's really, really a great program. An AutoCAD Architecture, and if I have time, which I might have time, I'll jump in and just show you just a tiny bit of AutoCAD Architecture just to give you an idea. It also comes with, you know, here's 8,000 intelligent architectural objects, you know, walls, doors, windows. It automatically generates 3D for you pretty much for the most part. You give it the parameters that you want, much easier to use than AutoCAD 3D. I cannot emphasize that enough. It, once again, has a lot of automation. It automates, well, specifically, I would say like sections and elevations. You know, it's not Revit, but let me tell you, if you are hesitating about making the move to full BIM, making the move to Revit, I would argue this is a step in the right direction. And I would also say it's easier to go from AutoCAD Architecture to Revit than it is to go all the way from AutoCAD to Revit. So this is a good stepping stone if you're just not ready to make the move yet, for whatever reason. I mean, I think you should just go to Revit, but that's a whole nother discussion. That's another webcast for another day. But definitely give this a try. Now you have it. You can definitely give it a try. I would, for sure. AutoCAD Electrical, you know, same idea. You have 65,000 symbols. It does all kinds of amazing things that you need to do when you are in the electrical industry, wire numbering and component tagging and things like that. Let's move on. Map 3D, which, you know, I remember ever so clearly One of my favorite people at Autodesk saying this is the top secret product of all time because you could have multiple people in the same product at the same time, working so the same drawing file in the same time, which is pretty darn crazy. And it does a great job with combining GIS and CAD data. What a great product. And then the MEP toolset, AutoCAD MEP was, once again, over 10,000 intelligent symbols, and it just does a fabulous job at the land of all things HVAC, right? And 3D, where you get into P&IDs and things like that. I'm sure many of you in the plant industry are probably doing this, but now it comes with you. Comes complete if you happen to be a subscriber. And then Raster Design. Now, I promised you this was a little top secret product. I love this product. And I was doing a presentation yesterday, a live presentation, and I had someone in the audience who could not stop talking about how fabulous this product was. I gave him $20 at the end of the presentation. It was great. So you can actually, sometimes we get raster images. Maybe it was a scanned drawing file, scanned paper drawing file. And we want to bring that into AutoCAD. We want to convert it to AutoCAD objects. So we can't do that with, AutoCAD won't do that automatically. That whole feature I was talking about where you can take a PDF file and bring it into AutoCAD as AutoCAD objects, that only works if it came from AutoCAD to begin with, right? It was in AutoCAD, it went out to a PDF file, so it contains that intelligent information. Then you can bring it back into AutoCAD and convert it to AutoCAD objects. But if you have a raster image, it doesn't have that type of intelligent data in it. And I'm sure many of you probably still have some paper drawings out there or some really old AutoCAD drawings that you need to now convert into DWG data. That's where Raster Design comes in. Raster Design is awesome. Oh my God, it is so awesome because it makes it so much easier for you to convert those scanned images into DWG objects. It has great cleanup tools. It does have some basic recognition of shapes and text. And when you scan images, you get all of those dots. It has a despeckle option. It has rubber sheeting. I will warn you that if you have a copy stain, copy stains look a lot like circles. It will convert that for you too, or it will also convert folds to lines. But nevertheless, it's going to help you convert those drawing files much faster than if you were to do it from scratch. So it's a pretty impressive program, and that's also included if you're a subscriber. So actually, you know what? I'm going to spend I didn't boot it up. That's okay. I'm going to load up AutoCAD Architecture. Give me 2 seconds here. That instructor didn't have it ready to go, but you can see it's a separate program, right? She says while it's loading, go. Why is everything slower when people are watching you? It's going to say your license is not valid. And let's go ahead and just start a new file. And look over here on the left, I've got a palette. I've got walls. I've got doors. I've got windows, all right? And I'm going to do a wall. I'm just going to go ahead and pick where I want that wall to go. And now, do I want to define that wall? Sure, I can come over here and I can tell it, how tall I want that wall to be and how wide I want that wall to be. I can give it all the information I need to. I'm just going to use the default right now. I'm actually just going to tell it I want it to be 60 feet. Let me turn my ortho on. Why is it not letting me turn my ortho on? Let me turn my ortho on. There we go. 60 feet. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. There we go. See, look at that. Looks just like a wall. Let's go up 40 feet, right? And let's go back over, say, 60 feet. Other ways of doing that, of course, as you all know, and then a C for close. Okay, so there we have my wall. That's easy enough. All right, what else do I want to do? I want to put a door in there. And once again, I can come over here and I can define my door. I can give it the width, the height, blah, blah, blah. But no, I'm going to be lazy. I'm just going to come in here and start putting doors in here. Pick the wall you want to put it in. Look how easy this is. Which way do you want the door to go? I'm having a little door party here. It trimmed it out for me. I don't have to do any of that trimming. And this is all happening in 3D. Okay, how about a window? Same idea. Here's my window. I could come over here and define exactly what size window I want. But I'm going to use the defaults in the interest of time. I'm going to go ahead and just pick a wall and pick where I want it to go. It does all that trimming out for me. I love it. It makes me so happy. Let's put another one there. As you can see, none of you are going to hire me to be your architect, are you? But I'm going to go ahead and switch over to 3D. I want you to see this is all happening in real time automatically for me. I don't have to stress about inserting all this and cutting it all out. Let's go to like conceptual, for example, or I could go to, that was in wireframe. I can switch it to anything that I want. But that was pretty darn simple, much easier than doing anything like that in AutoCAD, which just kind of takes me back to the slide where in AutoCAD, I draw a polyline, I offset it, I extrude it and trim it, and I guess insert a window is what it's saying on here, window. So I would say inside in AutoCAD Architecture, I just draw walls. I didn't have to create an opening. Did you see that? It was like automatic, and you set the width. I mean, it's just so much faster than it is inside of standard AutoCAD, and that's the way it is with all these tool sets. They're automated to help you get your jobs done faster. They're just really, really wonderful. Okay, last but not least, I sure sound like I work for AutoCAD. You tell I like AutoCAD 2019. There's a lot of value with it. All right, so once again, we got to move forward, right? People want to have access to their designs anytime, anywhere, and there's a variety of different ways of doing that now. And this is also not new. We have had the mobile app. It's been around for years, and the web app has been around for years, but they're just, once again, bringing it to your attention. And they've been updated, and they're in better shape than they were before. And I'm going to go ahead and just jump over to the AutoCAD Web App. So if you're a subscriber, you have access to the AutoCAD Web App. So as long as you have an internet connection, you can get to this app, even though you haven't downloaded an AutoCAD, right? And it has some basic, and I'm going to say very basic tools, more tools than what you saw with shared views. Remember, shared views, it's not named views, shared views. I'm going to jump over to, I already have it open. It is web.autocad.com. Any of you can try that at any point in time, web.autocad.com. The first time you'll have to sign in so it knows you have an account. And I've opened the highly complicated doghouse drawing file. It's a sample drawing that comes with it. Please note it says, I left this up here. Fonts are displayed as Simplex. It doesn't want to show you all the different types of fonts. It is very basic programs. In the left-hand corner, you will see all of the tools that you have, not a lot. This is not like regular AutoCAD. You just have the basics, and it does have some basic snapping capabilities, but you have the ability to go to layout, layers, and to look at specific properties. So it's primitive. It's going to be continually developed at some point in time. Maybe ideally, maybe AutoCAD will be a pure cloud application, so all the tools would be available to you, but it just isn't there yet. But it is, better than nothing if in a pinch, right? You needed to do something. So that's web.autocad.com, right? And then there's the mobile app. Once again, this has been around for a long time. It's had a variety of different names. And this basically means you can download this app and you can access it on your tablet. You can access it on your phone. If you want to try to look at a drawing file on your phone, by all means, have at it. I'm more apt to try my tablet. It has some great functionality on there. It has some basic tools. I can't show that to you. And it has some great basic tools. I guess I technically could. But one of the great things I love about that is the fact that tablets have GPS built into them. And there's an option to drop a marker in the mobile app. You could actually go on site, got your drawing file open, you go on site and drop a marker in the exact location where you're at, and it'll save that location in the drawing file. And it will actually know where you are in the drawing file as you're walking around. That's crazy, crazy talk. Now, if you don't have an internet connection on site, that's no problem. You can download your drawing files before you go. And you can do basic markups also as you go along. And then when you come back to the office, you have the ability to, I'm going to come back into AutoCAD. I want to show you that upper left-hand corner here in the quick access toolbar, there are two new options. Open from web and mobile, and save to web and mobile. Now, once again, these are not, we don't have a document management program that's monitoring all of this. You need to pay attention to naming conventions, but you can certainly go to the field, mark it up, and then come over here and open it up, take a look at it, and make modifications accordingly, which is great. All right. So this basically says the same thing, save to AutoCAD Web and Mobile and open from AutoCAD Web and Mobile. All right, so a lot of great advantages to subscription. To being a subscriber, right? You get the technical support. They're constantly updating the software. You'll get updates throughout the year. You can, I'm not supposed to say the word rent, but it is kind of like that. You might have a contract that comes along where you need to rent some more seats. You can do that. You can add as you need to as you go. And, you know, imagine it's more than happy to work with you to help you be successful there. And you also get some great administrative tools to help you be successful in managing all of your licenses. But, I mean, I think I showed you some other great benefits as well with the tools that you get with AutoCAD 2019. All right, on that note, what time is it? Let me see. How'd I do? Oh, 8 minutes early. Piece of cake. There's my information. I'm going to leave that there just for a second. A lot of you have my old email address if you want to contact me. I'm also still on Twitter. That's the same, @Lynn_Allen. You know, guys know I'm a big Twitter fanatic. So I'm Lynn Allen-consult@outlook.com for now anyway. And